Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. We're slowing down a bit now after yesterday's video. We're going to get a few more out this week, but I'm running out of commanders to talk about from Dominaria United. So I'll do the odd one now and then from Dominaria, but I'll probably be going back to look at some of the older legends I haven't covered fully. So, you know, just for me, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button here. Let me know you're enjoying this video. Today, I'm looking at another Rakdos deck. This is one of the ones I was really struggling to build, and I'm actually being serious this time. I was trying to think of a way we could abuse it, and this is what I've come up with. So I hope you like it. Is it going to work? I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see, and we'll take it from there. So here we go. Today's card is Bladewing, Deathless Tyrant, 5 red black, or black red, is it in the right order, for a 6/6 flying haste legendary dragon skeleton creature. Flying and haste is nice, and whenever Bladewing deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, for each creature in your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie knight creature token with menace. Tokens in Rakdos. That means you need to attack. Now, Rakdos decks are something that I do play. They tend to be more combo-y, and so I've tried to do... it's not really combo in this deck. I've tried to make it as close as I can without going full combo EDH style. CEDH style, I should say. So it's been an interesting build for me, this one. I've actually really enjoyed building it. It's here. So if I show you the deck itself. Oh, no, that's not it. We'll stay with that. So we've gone with the usual selection of lands. Anything that's black-red to start with, including the Dragon's Gate. I picked up Fabled Passage and Field of the Dead. Field of the Dead makes sense in this thing, you know, create zombies. Okay, they're not zombie knights with menace, but, you know, the knights would be leading serfs, so they could give you some serfs. We'll see. Lot of basic land, lots of that in there. I don't actually have that many red-black jewels, and some of the red-black jewels on MTGO are still really expensive, hence why they're not here. So if you've got things like the original black-red jewel land, whose name I completely forget at the moment, search lands, go and search them all out. Feel free to drop down the mountain count in here and the swamp count and put them in over the top. I have chucked in Urborg just so we've got that in. But what I haven't done for this deck is done anything where I'm going to be keeping my hand size, because we do actually want the creatures in the graveyard. So if we are discarding, fine by us. And that will give us the zombies when we attack with Bladewing. So, you know, and the upside with Bladewing as well is we don't have to worry about things like Swiftfoot Boots or any other enchantments or things that give it haste, because it comes in with haste itself. What we want to do is be filling our graveyard up before we play Bladewing, and then when we go with Bladewing, get a whole zombie army in play. So that's what I'm trying to do with this deck. There's a few other ways of winning, which I'll come to, but that's the plan with this version of Bladewing. So, ramp, I've gone heavy. Again, if you haven't got these cards in real life, MTGO is okay for them, but they are replaceable. So I've gone with Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman, Mana Crypt. I've got Mana Vault in as well, alongside the Arcane Signet, Charcoal Diamond, Fire Diamond, Mindstone and Rakdos Signet. I mean, at the end of the day, our commander costs 7. We need to get it out. If that means we've got to do the heavy ramp thing, then that's the way it's going to be. Yes, I'm aware I could have played some of the red ritual spells, for want of a better phrase, but I decided to try and avoid them so I could keep the creature count up to where we need it to be to get this to trigger and give us a load of zombies when it comes in. So that's the ramp side of it and the land side. We're going to just go through some of the cards now. What I did start with was looking for the things that dredged, and unsurprisingly, well, I was surprised. I thought there was more black and red dredges, but when I was doing searches on goat bots and things, not a sponsor stream, just use goat bots a lot, I wasn't really finding that many that dredged. But the ones that I did find, because, you know, getting back to our hand, get the cards in our graveyard gives another way. So I've got Dark Blast in here. It's not the greatest card in the world, but, you know, if you can pick off a Bird of Paradise or some early elf, that's really quite useful. Sinister Concoctions in, just so we can discard a card, sacrifice it, destroy a target creature. It does let us discard another card. It's not a bad thing. It takes out any creature. It's not limited, so that's why it's in here. Stitcher's Supplier, everyone saw from when it was available in Standard and playing the combo there. So, you know, this will mill 6 cards and count as another creature for when we get Bladewing playing. Elixir of Immortalities, because if it all goes pear-shaped and your whole library, you know, gets removed or changed, you can just sacrifice it and get everything back in your library. Ghoul Caller's Bells gives us a nice bit of artifact mill, so we can mill that way. Likewise, Shard of Broken Glass is just in because it does mill when the creature attacks. So, yeah, if you stack it right, if you equip it to Bladewing, you'll get a 7/6 dragon with haste, but it will mill 2 before the trigger resolves from Bladewing, hence why it's here. Corpse churns in, mill 3 cards and return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, okay, you can just pick, cast this, maybe to return Stitcher's Supplier, so on and so forth, hence why it's here. It'll probably leave a couple of creatures in your graveyard. Golgari Thug dies, comes in, put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library, and dredge 4, so you're going to be dredging quite a lot with this one. It's one of the other few dredge cards I could find in black-red. Grave Strength, choose creature, mill 3 cards, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature for each creature card in your graveyard. Pumps up your dragons again, yeah, so on and so forth. Maya Triton enters the battlefield, you mill 2 and gain a couple of life, which is quite nice. And yeah, it's got Death Touch, but it does block reasonably well. Wailing Ghoul, because it enters and mills. Okay, it's not the greatest creature in the world, but it's milling. You know, as you can see, the dredge thing didn't really work, so I went down the mill route. Book Burning's an old card. It deals, any player may have Book Burning, deals 6 damage to them. If no one does, target player mills 6 cards. You're going to target yourself, because you want to mill those cards, especially if you've got Bladewing around. It's a red deck. Well, it's a red-black deck. Dockside's here. I've talked about it enough by now. You're all fed up with it. I've chucked in Goblin Bombardment because it may be a case if you do get a load of zombies in play off Bladewing and then someone wraths. This gives you a nice way of getting around it, and you can ping them a little bit as the zombies die or any of the other creatures die. Shenanigans is in because it dredges, and destroying artifacts isn't a bad thing to have at all at the moment in Commander. Kalane's in just to give us a little bit of treasure around, but if we do have to spend some treasure at some stage, and we do have one very good way that I'm sure you can all see on the screen at the moment of getting treasures, yeah, having our creatures a little bit bigger is not the worst thing in the world. I think I've talked about everything else down here. I have. So over to 3s, Atrocious Experiment, target player mills 2, draws 2 cards, loses 2 life. You'll mill it, you'll draw, you'll lose. That's fine. Unless you can kill your opponent with it because they're on 2 life. It's a nice little way of killing your opponent, for want of a better phrase. It's not saying it's a win condition in any form, though. Bear that in mind. Cemetery Tampering I chucked in because we are, helps us mill 3 cards, and then when we get 20 or more cards in the graveyard, we get to cast whatever's under it for free. Fine by me. We're hoping to get lots of creatures in our graveyard quickly. Crow of Dark Tidings mills when it dies and enters. Dig Up the Body gets milled to and return a creature we may need. You can block early with your Dockside and return it to your hand, so you can get some more treasures from it, so bear that in mind. And it does help, don't forget, Dockside really does help us get here. Funeral Rites is in. You draw 2, lose 2, then mill 2. Yeah, okay. Merciless Executioner to help to control the board a little bit. Morea Urborg Haunt is a new one from Dominaria United Commander decks. When it deals combat damage to a player, return to the battlefield target creature card in your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn. If you attack, Dockside goes, you get Moria trigger, you get Dockside back, so on and so forth, hence why it's here. Necromancer's Assistant mills. That's all we're trying to do with these creatures, is just mill away. And if we mill an angel from this one, we gain 4 life, but hey, it's the mill factor. Stinkweed Imp's the other dredge creature. Technically, it's got Death Touch. They don't say it on the card anymore, but it has got Death Touch for all intents and purposes. But it does dredge for 5, so fills our graveyard up. Woe Strider gives another way of filling our graveyard up, and we get to escape it if we need to. It also has a nice little sacrifice effect, so if we are getting stuck, we can sacrifice the goat scry. Yeah, the goat token dies, but hey, we might need to scry down and find some ramp. I've chucked in Braids as well. Yeah, not sure it should be in the deck, but hey, what on earth? It's a new one as well, so we had it in here. Like Mahidi Emporium Masters here, we are going to be killing our creatures, so it makes sense to have this in to give us some more treasures if we need them. Likewise, Mayhem Devil I've chucked in because if we've got this in play with the Goblin Bombardment, it starts shocking things instead of just doing 1 damage, so that's why it's here. It's also quite cheap. Nightmare Void is purely for the dredge. You're not really going to, yes, you are going to have to cast it and target an opponent at some stage, but if they've only got 1 card in the hand, you might get rid of the best thing they're holding on to, so, Return Centaur and battles, mills 4. Yep, another way of milling. Same with Venomous Hierophant, which is a little bit better because it does have Death Touch, so people are resistant to coming into it and attacking. Damnation's hidden and long with chain reaction for some board control. Angrath I put in. This is the only Planeswalker in the deck, and Angrath is here because it gives everything we control have menace. And if you've got a hold of zombies with, okay, these come in with menace anyway, but if you've got any of the other zombies coming in, why not just give all your creatures menace and have done with it? And if you have to amass, you have to amass. That's the end of it. Macabre Mockery's in as well, so that we can return a creature from our opponent's graveyard to the battlefield, give it haste, smack him in the head with it, and then sack it again. But, you know, Goblin Bombardment, sack it from that. That'd be better. I've concluded Oblight Cutters, just because when it dies we do get the Elf Warrior tokens and we mill 3. So it gives us a few more blockers that we could really use. Yes, they'll be green, but oh well. Likewise, Sibsy Host just is there for the mill effect. It's a 2/6, it's a crap card. I'm not going to argue about it, it's a terrible card, but we want to mill the cards as much as we can. And I know there are other cards that I am missing out because I'm thinking of as I'm sitting here talking. But, yeah, if you can think of any more, chuck them in the comments down below for me. Summon Undead, return it to the battlefield is a nice way of milling stuff out. Green-Grace Acolyte enters the battlefield, mill 3, you gain 3. Yep, I can cope with that plan as well. Crux of Fate for some more board control. Living Death. Bet you haven't seen this one for a while. Comes into play. Everything you've got in play gets put in the graveyard, basically, and then everything that's in your graveyard comes back into play. It is another way of winning the game. It's probably, you know, I am trying to think of a way if I can think of a really good way of squeezing in something that gives all my creatures haste in this deck. But at the moment, I can't think of anything outside of something like Hammer of Porphyros or so on and so forth. So we are looking to do that trick with it. Sir Conrad the Grim's in. Whenever a creature dies or another creature card is put in a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, it pings everyone for 1. It's a no-brainer with this deck. You get this in play, you start milling through your deck, you are going to pin them out. I mean, we've only got 26 creatures, so it is a little bit low. There probably should be more, I am aware of that, but I think we have enough focus to get this going with how we've done it at the moment. Dreadhound's in. I haven't seen anyone play this outside of limited games for Midnight Hunt, but at the end of the day, why would you not have it in this deck at the moment? Rakesh the Debaser. Ooh. Excuse me, yawning in the middle of a video. Is really quite nice from Commander Legends, the original Commander Legends set. The attacks put target creature card from defending player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and it's got a lovely Encore ability. 8 mana, you'll get as many copies of this as you've got opponents left, and you get to do it again and keep those creatures. Seems like a no-brainer. You see me click on it a couple of times now. Ancient Copper Dragons here just for the treasure token generating ability. This is one of the reasons I did really think, I know I said I haven't put Swiftfoot Boots in and all the rest of them in. It was one of the few creatures that I thought would really benefit from having it in play, but at the end of the day I decided if that gets targeted and killed, so be it. We'll find a way to get it back. One of the ways to get it back would be Sheldred, Whispering one. So, yeah. Blasphemous Axe in as a bit of late game, let's wipe the board clean. And then Rise of the Dark Realms is a really advanced version of Living Death as far as I'm concerned. We are playing enough mana ramp that we should hit 9 quite happily, and getting everyone's creatures from all their graveyards onto play under our control, especially with some of the effects we've got in, seems like a cunning plan to me. But to finish off, we've got a few X-Spells. X-Spells are not something I really play in Commander, but I figured this deck, with what we're trying to do and hitting our zombies, might be a really, nice way of doing it. Mill X card, target player loses 2 life for each creature card put into your graveyard this way. So we can mill ourselves and maybe drain someone out for the last few points of damage we need to win the game with, hence why it's here. Finale of Eternity, hopefully we can get this up, get 12 mana on the board and just do this for its full 10 plus and get all the creature cards from our graveyard onto the battlefield. That's another sort of like mass reanimation spell. It's probably going to be hard to get up to 12 mana, but killing 3 target creatures with toughness X or less should be manageable. The last one as a backup win condition is Torment of Hellfire. It's one of the most annoying cards to play against in the Commander, but as a win condition right at the top end of my deck, it seemed like a really good plan. Hence why it's here. It usually works better if we've got Cabal coffers, and I don't think I've put Cabal coffers in. So we will do that quite quick change while you're all here watching the end of the video. There it is. We'll put the Cabal coffers in because we have got... yep, I've got Urborg in there. So yeah, okay. We'll have Cabal coffers in. That's fine. I could put the Stronghold in as well, but I'm not that desperate. Yeah, actually we will. We'll take a Swamp out and put the Stronghold in. It will help with the other things. Now I'm thinking about it. So, quick changes on the fly there, but it's all for Torment of Hellfire. If we can get this to go off, if you can get a whole load of swamps in play, you should know how dangerous this is now, especially if you've been hitting people and doing some damage. But that's it. That's my take on Bladewing Deathless Tyrant. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I said at the start of the video, please hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. Please give me a like button. Leave me a comment. Let me know what I've missed out. I'm sure there are cards that mill better than what I've got in the deck. And if you can let me know what they are and I can add them in, that's fine. Just remember they've got to be black or red, or they've got to be artifacts that are non-coloured artifacts unless they're black or red. But if there's anything I've missed, let me know. The link to Twitch is down below as well. I'm still trying to build up my follow account over there. So if you can come and give me a follow over there, that'd be great. And hopefully I'll see you very soon on my Twitch stream when I'm playing this deck. Take care. Thanks for watching the video. Catch you soon. Bye.